Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius. Today's the 16th of August, 2023. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff basically. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, guys. So now then, yesterday we didn't have the session. Yesterday I was off, but today we're back to normal, and for the remaining of this week. So let's have a look what's happening from the technical perspective and on the charts and instruments, and also we'll have a look at a little bit into the fundamentals as well. So Nikkei 225. Okay, so there we go. We're having that little slide here. We're having that little decline, which is kind of in line with everything in general, because again, the markets right now not feeling the best. The stock market I'm talking about, and it's not feeling the best, and that's why we're seeing this a kind of a follow-up to to the U.S. indices, kind of to the European ones. So yes, at the moment, I would say everything's looking fine here for the bears, and yes, we are breaking this 31,800 zone. I spoke about that level previously. And the question for me is, will we remain below that area? If we do, then yes, my next target is the 100-day EMA, and I get it. It's very close here. It's way too close, but you know what? I want to be a little bit more on the safe side. If that gets cleared, okay, that's fine. We'll go further south, but at this point, just let's keep it as it is. Let's continue targeting the downside, but just very, very carefully. If it somehow starts pushing back above the 50-day EMA, look, again, I'll do the same I'll do the same thing. I'll do the same approach. I'll maybe consider some moves higher, but to be honest, I would prefer to wait for a break of this downside line and then kind of go to the upside. At this point, yes, I'm kind of with the upside for now. I'm just kind of I need some sort of clarity with this one, because at the moment I'm leaning more towards the downside, but with the upside, yes, as I said, I need a little bit more clarity. China 50 index. So beautiful hold up, looking good in general. This one, from the technical perspective, I mean, that's amazing. Everything's looking fine. Today we got some numbers from, one number actually from China. The house prices, we saw a decline actually, and this is quite interesting. So we saw a drop below zero. So the previous number was 0, and now it's below 0 by just 0.1%. Okay, look, that's of course some might say that's not good for the economy and blah blah blah, but maybe that's good for inflation. However, that's in China. I mean, in the other Western countries, that's not the case. I mean, at the moment there's like some buying happening. Of course, it's also slowing down, but the prices are still adjusted to that. So, but don't worry, it will come. For now, from the technical perspective on China 50 index, I would say I need to see a push above this downside line first, and then I will get comfortable with higher levels. Yes, we are rebounding from this upside line. This downside line, I think it's no longer needed because I think that it's a little bit in the way now. So I think that it's better to just keep an eye on these little two short-term trend lines. And if we do break the upside one here, taken from the low of the 1st of July, then yes, I will consider a bit of a move to the downside here. But for now, long story short, we need to see a clearance of one of these lines before considering the next short-term directional move, guys. At the moment, like I said, my downside scenario worked out nicely. Now the question is, can this go further south? But at the moment, we're having a very nice area of support here for now. So let's keep an eye on it. ASX 200, beautiful. So far, so good. From the technical perspective, everything's working out here. We did drop below my 7,200 zone. I spoke about that level, and there we go. We fell also below that 200-day EMA. So for now, everything is looking quite nice here. Everything is looking quite bearish, as long as we stay below the highlighted zone. If we somehow push back above it, then maybe a bit of a retracement back up here could be possible. Let me just grab an arrow and just let it mark it here. There we go. So this could be that short-term upside scenarios suggestion. Could be an idea. But again, for that we need to see the index climbing back above this highlighted zone. So yeah, and for now, look, the downside scenario is not off the table. Again, we might start drawing some sort of like channels here or something like that. Maybe like this, again, it's not ideal, but it's not really. It's trying to find something where it's not. So let's keep it short and simple. For now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to aim for the inside swing lows here. Near these two levels, near the 7,039 and 42, or in general, you could say the 7,040. Of course, slightly below, we do have that psychological 7,000 mark, which also could be a nice, good target. But again, let's not rush into anything. Let's go slowly on this. And yes, we could see still like a bit of a roller coaster ride here, up and down. But eventually, like I said, the trajectory that I have here taken is to the downside for now, as long as we stay below the highlighted zone, below that 200-day EMA. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, there we go. Beautiful decline. Beautiful decline. And look, I talked about this idea. I said to you, keep your eyes on this kind of falling channel. And I said to you that my upside scenario will be from this 35,000 kind of 500 zone. And yes, it continued to provide good resistance. And we fell to the downside. What I said to you then, if we do fall and stay below that 35,077 zone right here somewhere, I will get a little bit more bearish. And so far it's working out. So my next target is the 50-day EMA, which we're very close to. But then actually I'm aiming for this highlighted zone, which is roughly between the 34,807 and 34,889 levels. So yeah, for now, that's my game plan. So if we want to go, let's say, further south, further to the downside, then certainly, yes, a break below that highlighted zone here is needed. But at this point, look, again, this is quite an important area of support. This highlighted zone together with the 50-day EMA. I don't want to rush into things. I just want to go carefully here. So that's why for now I will keep an eye on this territory. Oh, by the way, I didn't say good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Wednesday. And also, look, also today we have some data coming out. I think, no, wait, just a sec. Yes, from the US we have the building permits together with the housing starts. Yep, something to keep an eye on. Crude oil inventories for those who like to trade oil. And of course the FOMC meeting minutes. Now look, I mean, there's not going to be, it's just going to be the meetings of what they have discussed during the last meeting. Yes, I mean, so it's not really something like wowie, wow, wowie, so it's not really something like, wow, something new will come up. No, I think that for now, for now, let's yes, we might see a little bit of volatility during that time, but you know, will there be something extraordinary, some sort of new rate, some sort of big news or something? I don't think so. I think this will remain subject to kind of just in general the broader market moves in general. What's the sentiment? So these little, I think this week is kind of the little headline week. Like there's going to be a headline here, headline there, maybe not too significant, but still maybe could give that little move in the market. So for now, like I said, that's I think that this week is very good technical analysis wise, because if you remember, I said to you last week that we have some data. So maybe when we have big data, sometimes you cannot really fully depend on just technical analysis. But I think this week is a little bit on that side where we can actually look at technical analysis, and it's kind of working out. So that's why I'm approaching this from this perspective. So now then, jumping into the S&P 500 also had a decline. We broke the upside line, so now everything's kind of pointing a little bit more towards the downside. As long as we stay below this upside line, below that 50-day EMA, then yes, I will continue targeting the downside, where my next target is the 4,411 zone, and slightly below that we do have the 100-day EMA. And then from there we'll see what the market has prepared for us after that. But at this point, yes, like I said, I am leaning towards the downside. NASDAQ 100, this one is a little bit tricky. So look, I talked about this before, and I said to you that if we do trade below this 50-day EMA, then yes, I will remain bearish. Now, we did get a pop above this 50-day EMA, and then the next day we drifted back down. So it kind of violated and ignored the 50-day EMA. So at this point, I would say if you're looking for some lower levels, then I would say yes, maybe a drop below this territory somewhere, or in general, the psychological 15,000 mark could be a good option for more sellers to join in. So at this point, I am taking a cautiously bearish approach, and I'm waiting for that drop below that 15,000 mark, maybe 15,022 already, and then yes, I will go lower. For the upside, well, the upside here is still a little bit of a difficult one for me. So I'm basically keeping an eye on this downside line. If that gets cleared, then yes, I will go for some higher levels like the 15,904 zone, or even above that. So long story short, I am going to aim for higher levels if we do break this downside line. But at the moment, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside. DAX, the German index. There we go. Finally, we reached my goal, because my goal was to see a clearance of one of the sides here of this range. And look, I talked about this last week, the week before that, and I said to you, look, if this is going to end up in a range, then there is a good chance we could see a drift lower. Because again, whenever we, this range could be classed as a little consolidation territory. So we've entered that range, and the prevailing trend was to the downside. In a way, according to all the TA rules, such structures tend to be continuation patterns. And in this way, yes, you can see that this is exactly this is happening. So we're breaking the lower side of this range, and we stayed below the lower side of this range. So now, to be honest, I think that I'm going to continue targeting the downside, and my next target will be this area near the 15,635 or this 15,559 levels, approximately around here. Of course, ideally, the great target is the 200-day EMA, but hey, let's go slowly on this, all right? I mean, let's not rush into anything. Mr. Pucci, what's up, y'all? How are you? I hope everything's working out for you well this Wednesday morning. So yes, I hope you're all having. In general, I hope everybody else is having a wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. look, what can I say here? That's the situation with DEX. In order to consider the upside, I think that the easier option here is to wait for a break of this highlighted zone right here, which I saw as the upper side of the range. And yes, but I think that maybe we could already start aiming higher if we do push above the 50-day EMA. The FTSE 100, beautiful decline. Look, JD Invest, morning, nickel and zinc. Look, if we do have that here in just a second, let me just double check something. Okay, we don't really have yeah, zinc and zinc and nickel. Yes, I think I'll try to pick up maybe on the neutral ones. Let me just double check. Bum, 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 bum. Dum, 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 dum. Futures, cryptos, indices, economies. Oh no, I think it needs to be here. Okay, this is a little bit difficult one here. I mean, in terms of nickel, they're different ones, different. Okay, look, I mean, I can look at the ones on the Indian stock market, or the Chinese or the Russian one. So let's have a look at the Russian one maybe, and zinc. Zinc futures. Let's look at the Indian one. Okay, I'll pick up on that later on at the end. Or actually, no, you know what? I'm going to put it right there after metals. Anyway, so of the FTSE 100. So look, we had a beautiful decline, so everything worked out perfectly. We broke this downside line. We broke back below it, and we stayed below it. And look, I mean, this, in a way, I was kind of this was my other scenario, but I think that it happened already a little quicker than I could talk about it. So at this point, I think what I need to do here is to talk about this little hurdle, this 7,390 zone. If we continue to trade below it, then yes, I will continue targeting the downside. This upside line can go. I think I can redraw this way. I think that this is the better option right now. So, in other words, this creates this nice plateau where the index could go still, as long as we stay below the 7,390 zone. But as you can see, yesterday we had quite a decent decline here. So at the moment, yep, everything's kind of pointing a little bit more towards the downside. With the upside, it's a little bit tricky because with the upside, I have this downside line, which I would like to see a break off first in order to consider some higher levels, because maybe at the same time we could break the EMAs as well. So that's why my upside scenario is it's not coming anytime soon yet. Dollar index, very quickly. So we have reached quite an important area of resistance. So in general, my target has been met. This 103 point, let's round it up, maybe 30 zone, we reached that one. So look, what's next? Next is, if we break it, then we'll go higher. But at this point, I think that I need to just be a little bit more careful with this, because again, we had quite a decent up move already. But I'm not saying that I'm bearish already, because my bearishness will come on a break of this steep upside line and drawn from the low of the 18th of July and a break of this 102.65 territory right here. If that happens, then great, I will get a little bit more excited with the downside. But at this point, I'm just observing the price action. I'm not really, yes, it's still trading above the trend line, upside line here, but I need that pop here. I need to see the body of the daily candle staying above the 103 territory, 103.30 zone in order to go further north. Jumping into gold very quickly. So gold looking good. So finally, let's put it this way. I have reached my target. My target was the 1900 zone. So tick, tick. Even we fell a little bit lower. So actually, you know what? I want to remove all the drawings and start fresh. So, but I'll bring some lines back again here to the chart. So basically this 1900 level was a good target, and the lowest point of June as well, near the 1893 zone, is still a good target as well. So yeah, look, for now I would say this is looking quite good, even for the bulls. Now I will explain why. This is quite an important area of support. Right, we did drop below the 200-day EMA. Okay, that's fine. That's yes, that's seen as a bearish indication. But look, if this territory, let me just probably highlight it for our future reference. If this territory continues to provide support, then yes, maybe a bit of a rebound here could be possible. And let's not forget that maybe, just maybe, we have ourselves, okay, we have this downside line, which I'll bring back to the chart, yes, but also maybe we have ourselves a nice falling, very thin falling wedge. And according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the upside. I'm not expecting maybe something drastic here, some sort of like a big move or something. No, I'm just expecting maybe a little bit of a break here. And then, yes, a move towards the 200-day EMA could be possible. Now, ideally, I would like to see a test of these two EMAs, the 50 and the 100-day EMA. But again, that will be subject to if we can clear the 200-day EMA. So that's why the 200-day EMA is the better target for now. If we clear the upper side of the falling wedge. At the moment, look, I mean, maybe some of you might say, but hey, maybe this is a nice little doji here or something like that. It's like it's not a very a doji, no, it's like more of a, it's not even nothing actually. It's like it could be seen as a reversal signal, but yeah, look, let's not rush into anything for now. Let's just keep it short and simple. And I think it's even like this. You need to draw this. Yeah, I think this is the better way. So I think that it does give some attractiveness for some higher levels, but I would say wait for a break of this downside line, the upper side of the falling wedge, and then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a move to the upside. For additional kind of confirmation, maybe this push above the 1907 territory could be good. So just for that, extra, oh excuse me, extra confirmation before kind of, let's say, aiming higher. Oh, there we go. So, Daredevil Dave, good morning. Good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful start of a Wednesday. Silver. Silver, yes, again. Now, this one's a little bit more positive, I would say, because look at these kind of candles here. I mean, these have continued to stay above this, and I really want to mark it actually, because this is something quite nice, I would say. Look, this is something quite interesting. And yeah, for now, this is quite an important area of support, in my opinion, because we're struggling to stay below it. We keep getting these false breakouts, but we're struggling to stay below it. So if we do drop and stay below it, then yes, great, I'll go lower. But if we right now continue to trade, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. So something maybe, I need to maybe lower my arrow here a little bit. Maybe a move back to this downside line could be a possibility. So I'm gonna consider for now maybe this little correction here to the upside. But only as long as we stay above this 22.52 territory. Now let's jump quickly into nickel. Yeah, that's the one. That's the problem that I have here. Okay. Let's nickel. What if it's the Indian one? Maybe this one has a little bit. Yeah, it's this. I mean, I don't look. There is no good chart for that. So JD Invest one, nickel. Yeah, I mean, look, I cannot look at any other ones, but just the neutral ones here. So, unfortunately, maybe the nickel, commodity nickel, this one, maybe the Dow Jones one. Let's have a look. Okay, look, it's on a decline, so that's not much. It's also like in a decline, but I mean, what can I say here? It's it is approaching key support zone, so I don't think that this is something of an interest for me yet. Okay, it might go a little bit lower, but we have a strong area of support somewhere around here. So in general, look, this, I'll go back to the same cocoa we discussed earlier. At the moment, the technical picture doesn't tell me anything. It's just kind of, maybe I would say, kind of on a little bit on the decline, but still struggling to, go for lower lows. And that's why at the moment, I think this will remain subject to any news. So let's put it this way: you can, like, if for example you buy this, right, and you have to accept the fact that maybe it just continues to go slightly lower. In commodities like these, what you're after is some sort of like news, some sort of a big news event where it will shoot up, then you take your profit and then go out of there, right? But again, it's not like something really for me at this point. I wouldn't say that something is quite attractive. So I'm just watching it. Yes, and it's on decline, but maybe it will shoot up a little bit later at some point. But again, you need to see some sort of a news event. You need to get at some sort of a news event. So yeah, this can go. Zinc, it's on a decline. Yes, so far it's on decline. I mean, from the, even again, the technical perspective is one thing, but these instruments like these commodities are really fundamentally driven. So you need to wait for some sort of news. So if you can afford, for example, to hold it and take the hit while it slides and wait for that moment when some sort of news comes out, and then like boom, it shoots up and takes, then you quickly take your profit, and then you come out. So maybe, if you can afford that, then okay, great. But at this point for me, it's looking a little bit more bearish, to be honest, something like that. Yeah, even if, let's say, if I try to see some sort of logic here, or find some sort of logic, then let's say if I draw the Fibonacci's here, then I can see that, what can I see? I can see that we have nicely tested the 61.8% retracement on the Fibonacci, but from underneath. So in that case, it means that, hey, maybe we'll end up going towards that 78.6. Who knows? But at this point, I think that everything's pushing towards that idea. But again, for that idea to work out, for me, a drop below this 204 zone would be required. And then we could go maybe lower. But yeah, sorry, again, there's not much to say on those two apart from the technical perspective. That's the only thing that you can squeeze. From the fundamental side, you need to wait for some news to come out about this one. And at the moment, I don't know exactly what's happening with those sectors. I mean, apart from the fact that EVs are not really, the future, to be honest, because yes, everybody's trying to, push that. But look, if everybody starts jumping into electric vehicles, I mean, okay, you will get rid of, that, but you'll start, going into nickel, into zinc too much, right? But this is, I think, that something that people don't want to shift, because those two elements are also used in other industries. Those two commodities are used in other industries. So to sacrifice the other industries and, let's say, the cars, try to guess which one will be sacrificed a little more. So because, again, at this point, I don't know, I think hybrid is the way, but we'll see. Natural gas, just a quick update on this one. So yes, it's drifting lower, and looking at the picture here, we are seeing that we're still in range. So if you want to go higher, we need to see a break of this upper side of the range. If you want to go lower within the range, you need to see a break of this upside line. That's my simplistic approach here on natural gas. So let's wait and see. Corn, actually, just something that I wanted to pick up on, and there we go. We broke this area. We broke this 474 territory. So now, as I said before, that I will aim for my 439 zone, or even the 414 territory, and then we'll take it from there. So long story short, at this point, I am just aiming lower, and yes, I will consider some further declines as long as we stay below this territory right. Oh, no, not here, but right here. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. For the upside, I would like to see a push above this territory, above this 493 zone. And then, yes, we could consider some moves higher. Maybe a move towards the 50-day EMA could be possible. Ethereum. Ethereum is, yes, I'm waiting for my lines to load up here. For some reason, they're not loading up. But in general, you can see already without the lines, right? We're drifting lower, so it's giving me those teases. It's teasing me, but yeah, it's not really giving me any kind of, let's say, positivity so far. So even actually without the lines yet, I mean, I will say this way, that as long as we push and stay above the 50-day EMA, then I'll get comfortable with the upside. At this point, I'm seeing a decline, and I'm aiming for the 200-day EMA only. That's for now. And then we'll take it from there, guys. For now, like I said, that's my game plan, and I'm not going to really move away from it. So I will draw this maybe short-term downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 8th of August. So in general, a nice good break of it could also, yeah, lead to a break of the 50-day EMA, and potentially more buyers here could join in. Litecoin, oh, Ethereum, I didn't have any lines. Okay, I probably removed them. Okay, there we go. There's a new line in there. Litecoin, mission accomplished. Got a test of my upside line, so that's great. Yep. Let's for now, like I said, let's examine further upside only on the break of this upside line. We are currently doing that, and I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying below that as well. So if we do get that, then yes, my next target is this one right here, the lowest point of June. Near the lowest point of June of this year, near the 71.40, and then we'll go from there. That's, like I said, that's going to be my game plan right now. So let's see. In terms of the upside on this one, well, previously I talked about the 87 zone here. Still could be a nice good target. But you know what? I'm not going to really say anything about the upside yet, because maybe this could work out. Maybe just a break of this downside line as well could work out. I want to see a little bit more clarity. If we do rebound back up here, I'll still remain neutral. Yes, I will still remain neutral, and I will keep an eye on some of these lines right here. JD Invest, you're welcome. So yep, I hope, I don't know if that helps much, but again, like I said, with commodities like that, let's say not very, which are on the lower side of volatility, that's the problem. You know, you need to kind of, it's in a way like more of a investment product, right? So you invested it and you hope for the best. That's kind of, you know, it's not really much maybe tradable unless you have huge, I would say, huge amounts. And sometimes, like I said, these, not every, let's say, broker offers tight spreads on commodities like that. So that's why it becomes a little bit difficult to trade. It's more like it becomes like an investment product. Ripple, so yes, drifting lower, and actually drifted lower and tested my target. So 100-day EMA, good result here, but we jumped back above the 0.5961 territory right here. We're still above it. Look, if I want to go higher, I'm going to stick to my game plan, and I'm going to aim for higher levels only on a break of this barrier right here, the 0.6686. For the downside, now at this point, I would like to see a drop again below the 0.5961. Then I'll aim for the 100-day EMA. And if that gets cleared, then yes, further declines are possible towards the 200-day EMA. Dogecoin. So yes, exactly that. Great result. I talked about this on Monday. I said to you that if we do break this upside line, then yes, I will go lower towards the 0.0718. And there we go. We got my target. Then said to you that if we do clear that one, I'll go further south and I'll aim for this 0.0664 zone, and then we'll take it from there. So far, so good. AUD USD so continues to hold above the 0.6458 zone. So I talked about this on Monday as well. Said to you that keep your eyes on it. If we do continue to trade above it, then yes, there is a chance for a nice rebound back up. Now, however, I think that although this is looking quite attractive, I think that the better option is to wait maybe for a push back above this highlighted zone right here, above this 0.65 territory, and then target the upside. So just kind of basically allow this area to walk. But of course, if if you can't wait and you're patient, okay, look, maybe this could result in an upside move, but then actually you would have to just keep your stop loss very close to here, and then just basically consider the fact that there could be another false breakout to the downside. It could take you out, and maybe maybe it's not going to be even a false breakout. Maybe it will just drift lower. So that's my downside scenario. If we do drop and stay below the 0.6458 zone, then yes, I will go further south. NZDUSD. So there we go. NZDUSD is looking quite interesting. Because again, look, guys, I talked about this. I said to you that RBNZ is coming out today, and it came out. And guess what? They didn't really go for a rate hike. They just kept it the same as at 5.5. So yeah, nothing kind of major here. In general, I think that what's happening there is that I think that the RBNZ, the Central Bank of New Zealand, decided maybe to just give it a wait, so to see, because okay, inflation has been on a decline, and in New Zealand as well. So you don't want to really rush into things and kind of create maybe deflation. And they will probably wait for the next inflation number to come out, and then we'll decide after. Because as we have seen in the U.S., for example, that inflation has picked up. Inflation, yes, jumped a little bit to the upside. So in UK, for example, today inflation declined a little bit, but not on the yeah, it declined. Sorry, it came out lower than the previous numbers. Some forecasts. Apart from the core, actually. So yes, the core actually came out higher. So the headline CPIs on the UK one, but you know what? I'll get to that in a bit when I'll talk about the pound. But coming back to New Zealand, yes, at the moment I think that this is the result we're getting here. So maybe maybe the market is kind of expecting this. That. Maybe they're expecting that there's going to be more rate hikes later on. But at the moment, I think that this is just a pure correction right now, maybe before another possible leg of selling. We are correcting from this 0.5942 territory, and we're approaching this highlighted zone of mine. Look, if we do clear it, great, I'll go higher. But if we struggle, I'll go higher towards this downside line, by the way. But if we stay below this highlighted zone, then maybe another decline here could be possible. So something like that. Just don't exclude the downside scenario yet. Yes, we're having a nice reversal. Great. Of course, I would like to see some higher levels on this one, because, again, I think it's time a little bit, go for a little bit higher levels, maybe, and actually we could draw Fibonacci here. So that means you can see that the 23.6 is somewhere roughly around here, near the 0.6050 territory, or maybe a little bit below it, but still good potential target. NZDCHF. So also drifting nicely to the upside, but I think that, yes, I think it had enough, and it's now trying to maybe go for a bit of a corrective move here. So let's see. I would say let's see if we can, reach, first of all, I think that if we can reach this downside line right here. If this downside line drawn from the high of the 6th of July provides good resistance, then yes, maybe a bit of a move back down here could be possible again. However, if we break this downside line and we push above the 0.53 territory, that's from where I'm going to get more excited with some higher levels. USDJPY. So, okay, this one's quite interesting because, again, a lot of talks here happening with the whole Bank of Japan intervention. I mean, look, I think that there is going to be yeah, there probably will be an intervention. And oh, Joey Voy 07, good morning to you too. Euro GBP, right? Okay, I'll try to pick up on that one if I still have some time. So, but this is normally the list I go through on my right here. But okay, look, if I'm not going to be able to go through it today, I'm going to go through it tomorrow for sure. But coming back to the USDJPY situation, I will, like I said, everybody's talking about the Bank of Japan intervention and you know, the 145 level, which we, by the way, cleared. And to be honest, yes, it is. In general, yes, we're seeing the Japanese yen declining. Japanese yen depreciating against its major counterparts. Now, some would say, but hey, this is good for the country, as because its exports becoming more attractive on the global arena because the currency is cheaper, and you know that's why blah blah blah. Yes, and yes, that is true. It is cheaper. However, at the same time, imports for Japan become quite important, quite more, you know, more expensive. So, you know, and you cannot really go, you know, too much away. You cannot really make the imports way too much expensive for your local consumer. Again, at this point, look, Japanese, somebody might say, but hey, last time, you know, we saw exports, you know, kind of declining, but imports actually were declining more, like much more. And we saw, you know, a balance of trade actually jumping in positive territory for Japan. So it, some might say, good. And I think that this is what they're going to do. I think that they're going to keep it running a little bit more because look, they have still room, some like till 148.85 or the 152 zone. There is still plenty of room, I would say. Maybe they'll allow it to run a little bit more if the balance of trade right now is on the positive side. So it's kind of in a way I think that may be helping out. But once, let's say, that starts shifting, and look, we have the numbers, Japanese trade numbers coming out this week, tomorrow, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how that plays out. But in general, for now, I think that maybe they will allow it to run a little bit more. But you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go from the technical perspective, and if we continue to trade above the 145 territory, then yes, I will go a little bit higher. Ideally, I would like to see a push towards 148.85, but hey, the market doesn't always do what I want it to do, so let's keep it short and simple. For now, I'm going to aim for the 146 zone, which we already kind of came too close, but if that gets clear, then it's 147. I'm going to go for these like numbers, nice, beautiful numbers, 146, 47, 48, and then so on and so on. If we start dropping lower, back below the 145 territory, I think that this is where, yeah, we could maybe start jumping into some lower levels. But I think that I will get a little bit more excited with the downside if we do fall below and stay below the 144.85 territory right there. USDCAD. So yesterday we had some inflation numbers from Canada. Yeah, we had some in general. Look, what was the number? Actually, I already forgot what was the number for Canada. Canadian number, CPI number. Yeah, better. Yes, sorry, better. All better than expected, all across the board. And initially, we saw some positivity kicking into Canadian dollar, and everybody was like, "Hey, happy, great times," you know. But then it kind of quickly changed, and you can see that yes, this continues to rally here. It continues to push higher, and I think that it's mainly because of the oil. Because look, oil. Did I talk about oil? I missed oil. I think I missed oil. So yes. Just because of this, basically, I just realized that I skipped oil somehow because of nickel and zinc. Yes, okay. So look, with oil, the situation here is this: that it broke the upside line. I talked about this, and I said to you that if we do break this upside line and stay below it, I'll go lower. Initially aiming for the 81.52 tick, and then aiming for the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci tick. Beautiful hold up here, as you can see. Now what's next? Next is if we do drop and stay below the 23.6, my next target is the psychological 80 zone, then the 79 zone, and then the 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci, which coincides nicely with the 50-day EMA here. And then yes, we will kind of go from there. That's my because I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside on oil. Well, guess what? USD-CAD potentially could drift also further south. As we know, Canadian dollar really depends on on oil, so it has a kind of a positive correlation with oil price yeah, most of the time, not always, but most of the time. So at this point, look, I mean, I'm keeping an eye on this 1.35 territory. If we clear that and stay above it, then yes, I'll go further north. USDCHF, beautiful move here. Again, not much. Look, I don't know if you joined me right now only, and if you're watching this for the first time, but already I kept on talking about USDCHF. I'm watching this highlighted zone, and I talked about this, and I said that this is my target. This is the area. My nose is itching for some sort of reason. And I said before that I will keep an eye on this hurdle for this month. And I think that this is how it's going to end. I think that this is going to just continue oscillating around this target, because if we stay below this, I will go lower. But I'll go lower if we do drop below this territory, actually below the 0.87 zone. If we do remain above this territory, there is potential for some upside, but the problem is that we have these downside lines, which are still, in a way, playing out. So let's keep an eye on that one. Just bear with me one moment, guys. Sorry for disappearing there. I wanted to pick my nose and I didn't want to do it in front of you guys, but so yeah. Anyway, okay, look, that's my game plan with the USDCHF. The problem is it's very interesting, but at the same time boring as hell. And because again, it's just going to oscillate, I think, around this 0.8757 territory and not do anything. So that's why for now I'm just playing the waiting game. GBPUSD. So yes, CPIs, UK CPIs. So those came out better. Some came out. So okay, the headline numbers. The year-on-year one came out as the same as expected, 6.8, but it declined from 7.9, so that's a decent decline, 1.1%, so okay. Month-on-month figure improved, came out a little bit higher, but still lower than the previous. However, the core figures came out higher than the year-on-year came out the same as previous, and the month-on-month higher than the previous. That means that energy and food were the ones that were declining in a way. Services sector is actually still on the expensive side. So, and we're seeing some positivity right now here on GBPUSD, so in the pound, so we're pushing a little bit higher. However, as I said to you before, I'll stick to my 1.2782 territory for the upside, and for the downside, I'll stick to my 1.2666 territory for the downside. Until as long as I remain in here, I'm just observing the price action, because yes, this could be seen as a possible descending triangle, but not a very good one, because we have a lot of empty space here. So maybe actually it's going to be something else. Maybe it's just going to be a triangle, and we could, break to the upside here, because the prevailing trend to the upside before entering this triangle pattern. And then yes, like I said, I will keep an eye on this for now, but I need to see a breakout first. While we're here, I'm not really touching it. GBPJPY, this one's also looking quite positive. The same story as I talked about the Bank of Japan, so maybe they could keep on running it a little bit higher, depreciating their currency, but not too much. So maybe a bit more upside here could be possible, as long as we stay above the 184 territory. GBPNZD. So yes, this one is correcting a little bit lower. That's fine. I think that yes, everything is looking good. In general, this worked out nicely. Look, I talked about this idea. I said to you that my next target will be the 212, 214. I mean, perfect match, perfect hit. So, why not? If you're looking for some higher levels at this point, I think that the easier option is to wait for a pop above the today's high near the 1.2. Actually, let's round it up here at 14 zone. If we do pop above it, my next target is the 2.15, and then 16, and then so on and so on. But if for the downside, actually, for a downside in the near term, I think that we can actually adjust a few lines here. This one we can adjust, I think. And if you're looking for some lower levels, maybe a drop below this 2.11 or 2.12 zone would be required just for that extra confirmation in order to consider a larger correction to the downside. EURCHF, it's a mess. Again, look, I mean, I kind of talked about the 0.9585 territory. It did violate it, kind of worked. Now it's not working. I think that, yes, I need to get rid of it. Sometimes this happens. Unfortunately, you have to adjust as you go. So now what's next? And I think that maybe this territory may, okay, look, in general, I would say this one. I'm stuck with the downside here. Although I can see that there are some potential moves lower. There could be some potential moves lower. But I'm trying to find some sort of logic somewhere. So look, maybe actually the easier option is to go from the recent low here. So the 0.9566, if we do fall below it, yes, we could go a little bit lower here. Maybe we could go towards this 0.9525 territory, and then we'll take it from there. For the upside, for me, is straightforward. For the upside in the near term, a push above the 0.9650 territory would be required. At the same time, we could push above the 50-day EMA, and then we could aim for this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 31st of March. So basically, what I'm considering here is a possible larger correction to the upside if we do pop above the 0.9650. And finally, EURUSD. Oh, actually, before finally EURUSD, let me just grab Euro GBP for Joey Voy 07. Let me just grab that one. So I'll pick up on this one first. Euro GBP. Okay, this is a mess. I think I looked at it previously. It kind of worked initially, then stopped working, so I abandoned it. And I think now let me have a fresher look. I'm gonna bring this downside line, a few actually downside lines. So I think I'm gonna bring this one back here, and I'm gonna bring this one maybe as well. So okay. So you can see that so far we're on a down move, right? We dropped below the EMAs, and as long as we stay below the EMAs, to be honest, there is potential for some further declines. If we go just purely from the trend line perspective, then you can see that we are breaking right now this upside line drawn from the low of the 11th of July. So in a way, it is opening door towards some lower levels, like for example this territory or maybe this territory right here. However, we need to see the pair staying below this upside line. If it struggles, I'm gonna just observe I'm just gonna take a neutral stand in here, and just maybe it's gonna start moving around these EMAs again. And if it starts moving around the EMAs, then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wait for a push back above the 50-day EMA, and then I'm gonna aim for the 100-day EMA, or maybe even the 200-day EMA again, or this downside resistance line, whichever comes first. But at this point, like I said, because we're breaking this upside line, then yes, there is a chance for this one to drift lower. And finally, EURUSD. This one's a mess, and I talked about this, and I kind of was actually leaning more towards the downside. And to be honest, I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside, because I thought that maybe this could be a nice little range here, but I think that I will be wrong at this point, because it did break it did drift lower, it did kind of start violating it. This up and down here, it's not really respecting the range. So I think I need to have a fresh look on EURUSD. And I think that I will bring some of the levels back here, some of the important key support zone. But let's put it this way. I'll take a simplistic approach. As long as we stay below the 100-day EMA, I'm going to aim for the 200-day EMA. That's it. If we start climbing back above this 100-day EMA, okay, maybe we could see some upside, but I think that for me, the upside could come on a break of this 50-day EMA, and maybe at the same time we could see a break of this downside line. Again, who knows, depending on how this is going to trade. If like I said, that's why my upside scenario is going to be very boring, and I will wait only for, like I said, a push above the 50-day EMA initially, then maybe this downside line. But again, this downside line is very sensitive, so again, I'm not putting too much emphasis on this downside line, because maybe it's just not going to carry any significance, and maybe it's just going to be like just a little obstacle on the way higher. So, okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your views, for your rocket ships in there, or, you know, in general, thank you very much for all your support, guys. I really appreciate that. If you wanna catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Daily Pitch International with Easy Markets here, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.